Welcome back to Pun Fun, where we have fun with the puns. Welcome back to our spooktacular month, and we're here with Drax. Hey, Drax, thank you for bringing it to the max.
Hello. How are you, man? Thank you for
I
inviting
am
me.
doing good, and thank you for coming on. Can you give us a bit of your cultural background?
Absolutely. By that you mean where I'm from and
Yeah,
all
where
that
you're
stuff.
from, what is kind of your influences too, and culturally.
Okay. I'm from Mexico City.
Okay.
I was born and raised there.
Wow.
Yeah, I get that a lot, man.
Really? Okay.
I'm from Mexico City. It's I don't know, like it's a weird place, you know.
Okay.
It's a melting pot of culture there.
That's very cool.
So yeah, most of the times when I say this, the next answer is I've been Mexican. Like my family is totally Mexican, like for 4 generations. So
Oh, wow.
I don't know, why do I look like this, you know? No.
Speaking about influences, what were your comic book influences growing up?
Okay, my comic book influences, like it was. I mean, it doesn't reflect in my work right now.
Okay,
Okay,
that's
so
fine. Yeah.
it's something weird, but I used to, when my first approach to the comic book industry, I always liked to collect books, okay? But my first real approach to the comic book industry was meeting Humberto Ramos at my high school. Turns out the librarian from that school her sister is Humberto's wife.
No
So,
way.
yeah, but like, what
so
were the
cool.
odds, you know?
Yeah.
And I really used to like to hang out in the library because she used to buy comic books for us, for my friends, and
Yeah.
she knew I draw. So she told me one time, like, hey, I'm going to, if you like, I can try to bring Humberto Ramos to school.
That's
and talk to you
crazy.
guys."
That's a legend. Wow.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. And she did. And I remember listening to Humberto speaking of how his work, like his daily, weekly works. You know, it's amazing, man. Like, I think
Wow.
at that age, I used to think you grow up and you start working in an office, you know.
Right.
Yeah, and Humberto, like, kind of broke that idea for me, you know. He was like, I get to decide with the publisher what to do with Spider-Man, and that was
Wow.
like being a person that lives in Mexico. It was, for me, it was like, holy shit. Like, sorry.
No, that's fine.
How can a person have like so much influence on a character that I really love, man? And at that time, like, Spider-Man
He's iconic.
It's one of my favorite characters from all time, you know.
Wow.
So I was like, what is this? Like, does this exist, you know? So after that, I realized I wanted to do that, you know, like, to pursue that career. It's a hard career, though.
Oh no, I can only imagine. And it's not everybody who goes into it makes it out, but you know, it is a tough career, especially now with everybody also, with the internet and stuff like that too. There's so much more artists that are now showing up, or showing their work. So I can only imagine how hard it must be to, be kind of distinguished from other artists as well.
Yeah, it's. I think, but it's also, I think we are getting to a point that we have to evolve a little bit, you know, change the way we sell comics, the way we do comics, the way we approach to the audience.
Okay.
And I think that's something. I mean, I'm a newbie here too, you know. But I think it's we have to change stuff, and we're changing it, and it's although it's a little bit competitive.
Right.
It's super nice, you know. Also, you get to meet people like Dan and Knightmare and Beal, and people that are really nice, you know, and really, they are doing this for a passion, and
they're genuine into it. Yeah,
it's completely different. So going back a little bit, I met Humberto Ramos. I start drawing more. I draw since I was 6 years old.
Wow.
So after meeting Humberto, I really start digging more into comic books.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
And my first and foremost inspiration was Jim Lee and Humberto and Scott Campbell. Like, those were like my top guys. I was like, holy shit, how can they do this? You know, it's crazy. But but you know, like I didn't used to draw so much anime at that time. And yeah,
Was
I
it more
guess,
American style, the style that you had before?
yeah. I also, like, when I started working in the comic book industry, I started working with a small publisher,
Okay.
indie publisher. I met a guy in my building. It was a neighbor,
Okay.
and bro, you know, like I knew this guy for 11 years since I moved there, and it was 2 years ago, right? So
Okay.
I was in the elevator and he had a cap of San Diego Comic Con, and I was like, that's a really nice cap. Did you want this year? And before the pandemic, like 1 month, 2 months before the pandemic. And he was like, no, I go every year. And I was like,
What?
why? Like, what? You know? Yeah, like, what? And he told me, like, yeah, I have an online store, one of the biggest online stores in Mexico for collectors. And I was like, wait a second. And I wasn't a comic book artist, but you know, you have to say,
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
you have to push yourself a little bit so
Yeah.
you can, you know, have a chance to some stuff.
Absolutely.
So I told him, hey, I'm a comic book artist. Can I show you my portfolio? And he like, at the beginning of this conversation, I was staring to him like super impressed with a weird look, you know. At the time I said this, he gives that look to me back, you know. And he was leaving the building, so he turned to me and he was like, "Let me get my keys. Let's go to somewhere to talk." We start talking, and in the conversation, he tells me that he's going to go to Chicago Comic Con, to the C2E2 Expo that year. And I asked him if I can tag along with him, you know. So I did. After I prepared a portfolio, I did. It was crazy, man. I mean, it's
yeah, that's insane.
You know, I did. I paid my stuff. I was working at the moment as a anatomy teacher for a high school, and I leave Chicago. I present my portfolio and I start working with this publisher, and I did a whole volume, 6 issues with them, like for 1 year or something. And then I started working in 2 more projects with them.
Wow.
And they haven't been published. So that's why, you know.
None of it has been published?
None of it has been published, as far as I know right now.
Okay,
but
wow.
But you know, it was a really good, it really allowed me to understand how to make comic books. And how hard it is, you know.
To like the right exposure.
Yeah, like they didn't give me a tight deadline also. And I was working right now. I was redoing one of the first books they did. I was redrawing it completely because they have chunks of it.
Okay.
Because of the artists that couldn't start it. So it really helped me out with layouts, storytelling, understanding, and at the end of the day, it was 6 issues, you know. So it was a really big task.
I'm surprised they haven't like released it. That's crazy, especially like so much work, like 6 issues worth. That's crazy.
And also the story is super good, man. I was like, I'm still sad that they haven't released that. It's super good, man. The story is amazing.
Wow, that is pretty crazy. And I guess, was this the moment where you knew that it was no longer just a hobby, but it went to a professional level? Was this that moment that happened, or was this something that happened or occurred previously?
I think it happened previously, because also at that time I was beginning to study. Like, I moved from a university. I couldn't afford. I don't know if I tell you this, but I'm a triplet.
Okay.
So paying for 3 careers, it's too much, you know. It's crazy. So I had to leave the first college I went to, and go find a cheaper one, right?
Right.
Oops. There we go. And with this, at this time, I was just 1 month going into college at that time, you know.
Wow.
And when I got the gig with this publisher, I was like, I want to go. Like, my purpose, like my final goal, I was studying animation. It was to get into comic books.
Right. Exactly.
So I was like, I already achieved that. Like, I'm beginning, but I want to stay here. I'm where I wanted to be. So
exactly.
I decided to drop the college and just go from there. And doing this all day, it takes a tool in your hand, but it's the best way to improve, man. Like,
wow. No, and that's crazy. Like, you literally had an elevator pitch, and it, you know, everything from then just worked out. That's crazy.
it's weird, man. It's something that you don't expect, you know.
Yeah, no, yeah, like coming into this interview, I wouldn't have never. Your neighbor of all people, you didn't know, and it just at that moment he had that hat. It just had to happen, man. It just had to happen.
Yeah, bro. I don't know. It's something. Yeah, I agree.
And speaking of your art, so you had mentioned transitioning from more of the American style to now more of the anime, styling. For example, this one here, so the Zombie Tramp slash Jenny Bell, because there's two versions that you did.
Yeah.
To start something like that, how do you even start the art process, or how do you, kind of, I don't know, space things out and make sure, because there's so much expression, but it really looks like she's actually holding, either the camera or the angle while everything's like cracking and breaking. So yeah, what's your art process on this bad boy?
Well, in the Zombie Trap cover, especially in that one, I had a really tough time, man. I was super nervous. It was a character that has so it's so popular and people really love it. So
Right.
Most of the times I try to. It might sound funny, but I try to understand the character before drawing it. How their personality, how will they react, and more in the anime style, because in anime most of the time they always have the same face, and just the eyes and the hair changes, and the expression of the hair of the face. So that is what the character personality is. That's where the character personality is. The expression of the face. So it was a tough time for me to decide what to do with it. Like I did 10 different thumbnails. I'll open the iPad and zoom out and make little thumbnails, to see if the composition works. That's how I do it. And then I don't know, for that one especially, I talked with my girlfriend. I was like, I'm so lost. I don't know what to do. I want to do both of the characters in the same picture with cracked glass, but I don't know what to do. And she kind of she helped me out with a couple of references, pictures, and I was like, this one, maybe put try to get closer to the cell phone, and when I saw that, I was like, I think this kind of works,
Yeah, it definitely works. It's one of my favorite pieces. It really is very cool. Very very cool.
Thank you so much, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, Rob's pencils and the crack part is where I wanted to. I really had to choose which part of Jenny and Zombie Tramp I wanted to choose, so you can see it,
Wow.
So that's everything.
No, it's amazing work. So what I love actually about this piece and some of your artwork that you've done, because you're doing actually the interior work, so for a lot of the Still Ill comics at the moment, is the fact that it fits so well. Like it just had to happen that you had to meet Dan, because Dan, his style to begin with was a mix of the American / anime as well, but he has a big passion for anime as well. And then for you to come in and bring this other stylized, yet it looks very familiar to what we've already known. It was a perfect fit. Yeah, it just works so well. Speaking of Still Ill, how does it feel to be a part of the Still Ill team?
I don't know, man. It's they are amazing. First of all, foremost, they are amazing. I didn't knew really so well who they were when I started working with them, and it was super nice the way they are really warm. They really. Most of the times you come to you meet a publisher and you don't. They tell you I'm going to get in contact with you and we're going to work on this, and you never know. But they were super warm. They really liked my work, and it was nice when I started working with them. They really they don't step in they don't put so much pressure on you as an artist, and they really give you so much creative freedom, and that's something that it's not as common, most of the time in my experience. But it's super nice, and they are super nice people to talk with. I don't know, it's nice. I'm right now just showing.
Oh, there you go. Ripping the Still Ill. Yeah,
man. It's nice. It's really nice, and the community they have this Still Ill family fan page, let's say. Fan community. I mean, it's amazing. It's awesome. They have give me a warm welcome too, and it's super nice to see that they really like my work. I'm super grateful to be part of this publisher.
No, that's amazing. It's so cool, and even but yeah, I mean, you're churning out pages after pages and doing covers. It's well done. Now being in the comic book, industry, what was your either favorite or worst moment so far, part of your journey?
Oh. Like
It could be either or, one or the other. It doesn't have to be both.
The thing is, I really like to talk, man. Are you okay if I say both?
Yes, sure.
but I'm going to try not to say any names or
No, it's fine. Yeah, as long as we don't get in trouble, you're good.
Yeah. I remember there was a publisher I worked with that it was. I had a couple of tough moments, like some of the hardest part about this is you enter to a world that to an industry that you really have to start learning fast stuff,
Okay.
So in one of the things that it's harder to learn and be careful after that is to get paid. I guess this is not part only for the comic book industry, but for a freelancer, freelancer
absolutely.
type of work, it's the most important part and hardest part. And I had a trouble with a publisher that they it's not that they weren't paying me, but it was that they were holding the money against what the contract says. So I hijacked my own pages. So it was.
Yeah, it was messy.
It was messy, but right now I think we ended in good terms, and it was
okay.
Was cool.
That's good. At least it was a happy ending. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
And what was your best moment in the comic book industry so far?
I think I will say two. The first one is having the first seeing how the people reacted to the first publishing book I did. Like it was Sad Girl, and it was it was like I've been working in this for 2.5 years right now, and just 6 months ago it was the first time I got to see something published for this first time. So it was super warm, to see how people react, how they really like the difference, because there's not much of a difference in my opinion between Dance's style and mine, but it's a bet, when you get someone new to draw something you used to do. So Dan took that bet and people liked it, and it was like, oh, this is nice, like, thank you so much. And the second time it was, I think, it's along the same lines. It was a couple of weeks back when I met you in Toronto.
Okay, yeah. At Fan Expo, very cool.
Yeah, it was my first approach to those people that like my work, to the fans that like my work, and it was super warm, man. It's like I cannot express how grateful I am to have those guys to I don't know, like there are guys that show me their art constantly on Instagram, and it's to inspire them and to I don't know, like it's nice. It's something that you're not prepared to see, and you don't know, like
yeah, it's unexpected. I guess it's something that comes along at some point, but you never know where. But
completely,
yeah, wow.
It just happens, and it's just like
very humbling.
I don't know. Yeah, it's a nice experience, and I think that's the second best thing right now.
That's awesome. I mean, we're wishing you many more happy experiences within the comic book for sure. Man. Talking about projects that you're in, how about future projects? Anything you want to discuss or talk about for future projects for Drax?
Hopefully, you get to see some work I want to do with Dan, with a character of mine. But I don't know, like, we have to see.
Okay, we'll keep it hush hush for now then.
Yeah.
That's very cool. That's so great that everybody he brings into the team really does get involved, but not just like doing the work, but they actually get into the whole the universe that he's created as well. So very, very cool. And then for anybody going into the industry or who's in the industry who wants to maybe, take it a step further, what are Drax's words of wisdom?
First and foremost, persistent and patience.
Okay.
I think it's a work that takes a toll on you physically, like physically being sit down and drawing so many pages. It's
Right.
exhausting after a couple of days, and
days.
and
Wow, I
it's
say hours.
Well, hours, but in my case, I do this in the whole every day. Like it's my, how do you say it? But like my main job, let's say.
Yeah, it's your main job. It's like your lifestyle.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's I do this all the time, and it's hard for your body. Like it takes a toll on your body, and it's also a little bit lonely. So
Okay.
if you can get a community of artists and you go hang out with them, try to take breaks, a little bit of relax from time to time, and enjoy it. It's a great industry to work with and it's fun. If you like it, you're going to do so many good stuff here, and you're going just to progress, not by your own, but you're going to get better if you just keep going and going and going. Wow. And it's just a matter of time, just keep at it, and that just happens naturally.
Okay. Wow, those are great words of wisdom, and from us to you, we definitely wish you much success, going down the line and within your journey. Before we go, though, there's one last, we usually ask our guests, but one last request is, can you provide us a pun?
I can provide you a couple, but let's say.
Oh, really? Dang, somebody's like full on ready with a list. Okay, this is interesting.
Okay, so it's a zombie pun.
Oh, perfect.
For the zombie trunk at Halloween. It's, what street do a zombie live on?
I don't know.
The dead ends.
I like that one.
I found another one here that it was like, I really like it. It was, what makeup do a zombie wear? Massacre.
Wow. Okay. I like that one. That one's dead on. Wow. This has been great. And for you guys, if you guys enjoyed this episode, we definitely suggest you hit that like button. Also, we suggest you subscribe. This way you stay on top every time we have other artists on our show. And also, we hope we'll have Drax back on our show on a more project-oriented basis, not just for the interviews. And thank you again. Any last words before we go?
Thank you so much, Brian. You're awesome, man.
Thank you. You guys take it easy. Peace.
Yeah.